Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel at the Hunt Collective. Today we've got Jackson in the chair and we just had a little chat on the couch just before he sat down, and we noticed he's got a nice little bit of wave and curl in his hair. So Jackson normally gets quite a conservative haircut, so it's a number one, number two back in size and then just cut short on top to kind of keep it nice and neat, but he likes it to be sort of directed over to one way, so like not too symmetrical, which I think is cool. But I asked him if he wouldn't mind leaving a bit longer on the top for this video, because he's got good curl and I reckon I could make that curlier and also make it a lot more textured than it just being that kind of like S. It's got what we call an S curl. So as you can see, it's like the letter S. It's not like ringlet like a C curl, so we'd say this is an S curl. So I want to try and emphasise the texture. I just think, face shape wise, I just think he'd look great with a bit more length on the top, and also his missus would like it as well. So that's always a winner, right? So I thought we could try and, again, still stick to something, the majority of what he wants, but I just thought for this video it'd be a really good way, and also for Jackson to see as well how cool it would be with a bit more length in your hair. And actually, a lot of the time, I'm guessing, I haven't asked you, but is it because it's too hard to maintain why you don't have it longer?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I can show him how easy it is if you get it cut right and you get the right texturizing techniques done and the right thinning out in the right areas, how easy it will be for him to maintain. And also don't forget the aftercare as well, so the styling of it, the shampoo and the condition, all these things that I'm going to talk Jackson through and talk you guys through as well to make it his life easier at whatever time in the morning he has to get up, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So we'll start by shampooing and conditioning it, and then we'll talk you through the hair. So I've shampooed and conditioned Jackson's hair. Now, I left the conditioner a bit longer than I normally would, just because it felt a little bit dry, a little bit coarse. So normally I would say if you're going to condition your hair, do it 3 times a week, for example. That's normally a conditioner that you'll get from a store that is probably predominantly aimed in the female market, who don't generally wash their hair or condition it as regularly as guys do, because we wear product in our hair every day. That's one of the main reasons really, is that we wear product in our hair. So this is an everyday conditioner, but I just left it a little bit longer just to soak in a bit more. And then when you're washing the conditioner out as well, don't wash it out fully. And that sounds a bit crazy, but you want to leave in about 70 to 80% of the conditioner. So with a shampoo, you usually, you're right under the shower, you're giving it a good scrub out. With conditioner, just kind of rinse your hair under the shower, don't really kind of scrub at it. And that'll just soak a bit more in, especially when you're curly hair. It's always better to do that as well. But as you can see, now it's wet and I start to kind of scrunch his hair, it's nice and curly. So we're going to work on that today. Be wicked. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the back and sides first. I'm going to find my horseshoe. It's probably going to be fairly high, just because it's quite short through the back, but I'm not going to clipper it right up to the horseshoe. I'm going to keep it quite low, but I need to part it off, probably from the crown. He's got a double crown as well, if you want to have a look at this, Liam. So if you just tilt your head backwards for me, Jackson, and you see he's got a crown there, and a crown there that kind of comes into the middle. So I can imagine when you were a little boy, and you went in the barbers, your barber probably didn't want to cut your hair, because I bet your mum wanted it nice and short and it just go ping. So we always want to keep a little bit more length.
Is it the more crowns the better?
I don't know if it's better. I just know it can be more difficult to manage, more length. But there's no right or wrong. It doesn't actually make the slightest bit of difference really. It all depends on what look you kind of go for. So a lot of the time, if you had super straight hair like me and Liam, you'd find it hard to part a certain way sometimes, especially because some people's crowns can be quite far over either side. So you could have it like your double crown's very close together, so it's probably not too difficult for you. But some people have it like one can be like right far over to the right, one right far over to the left. So when they want to part the hair, you usually part it from the crown position, and you follow the crown round and bring it over. Whereas you've got a double crown either side, there's no right or wrong. So that can be a struggle. But with yours, because you've got curly hair, it's totally fine. Again, go too short, it will stick up. Same thing with every double crown, if you go too short it will stick up, so it's finding that length that works, but this one won't be a problem. But all it will do is it will make me change the height of the horseshoe, so I'll do that now. So there is my, I wouldn't say it's really a horseshoe, but my section anyway from the top to the sides. It still sits either side, it's the same height. It's actually not. 1 second, a little lower here. And that is better, there we go. So that is the same height, but as you can see, the back isn't in that kind of U to the point. It comes right to the double crown, and then it splits, and then the crown's left natural. So I'd always say that's a good recommendation for anyone with quite a close double crown, as it is there as well. So I'm going to dry the sides and the back off, and we'll start on our clipper work. So I'm going to work down from a 2 into a 1. All right. Right. So I'm going to start my number 2. So we're going to blend the 2 into the 1. So I'm going to start at a good height. I'm going to start with my 2. I'm going to bring it back to the half lever. and start and bring it off probably about here. As you can see, it doesn't concave too much towards the crown, but I want to try and keep a little bit of length through the crown to create a nice shape. So I'm going to start just above the occipital of the bone at the back. So his bone is here, and I want to end about here. But it doesn't protrude out too much, so I don't need to worry about anything sticking out and kind of looking slightly odd. I want to work it so it works in, and it kind of blends into the back of the head shape as well. I'm working from my middle section around to the right. I'm just using that nice motion of kind of coming up and off and out. I'm not kind of going up in a straight motion like this. I don't want to leave too much of a wedge. I want to start to ease my blending. So I'm coming up and off and giving a nice graduation. So it just saves me a lot of effort when it comes to fine tuning the blend. There we go. I'm going to work down to my 2. So close guard. Start from the longer hair up into the 2.5. Now, a good thing to use when you're working on curlier hair is use a brush, because it tends to straighten out that curl a lot. So using a comb, it will straighten out to an extent, but I just find the bristles of a brush like this, like a fade brush or anything like that, will just smooth out them curls a lot better. So you can see exactly where your clipper works going, and you feed it into the clipper a lot better as well. I never normally use it as I'm going through the haircuts, as it clogs up and kind of leaves a bit of a, you can sometimes leave a little loose hair on the scalp, so it can kind of make it look as though you have to shadow, for example. So I tend to use it after every sort of half guard that I'm using. Onto my 1.5. This is my 1 guard, open. I'm starting from the longer hair and working up into where the 2 was. Working up and off into my 2. And then working down to my 1, so my closed guard. I'm working up and off into the 1.5. So when we're talking about what length we're working to in terms of the height as well, so obviously we're working to number 1, but I'm taking the 1 to sort of what we say like a medium height, for example, so up to sort of the temple area, just above, maybe level at the top of the eyebrow. So you want to use it in terms like the fade kind of terminology. It's like a sort of medium 1 fade is what we're going for today. So starting where you can see the darker area where the 1.5 and the 2 kind of start to meet, I'm going to use this on an open guard, so my 1.5 lathe. I'm going to start at the back and work in the same direction I just did then, but I'm looking at the dark areas. I'm looking for this to be in between the 1.5 and the 2. Now, especially when you start going down to 1.5, and especially with curly hair, it tends to space out a lot more, so you start to see that real sharpness of scalp exposure. So I want this to be as seamless as possible, so that's why I'm using this guard, just around the areas of where it's a bit darker and a bit heavier. So I'm going to work through this guard from it being open to closed, but I'm working in stages, so I want to refine this completely. That's the majority of the clipper work done. I'm going to work onto the clipper of a comb now to blend in to the corner section here, and then I also refine using them through different combs to get that really seamless blend. I'm going to work in very, very small sections. I find when I'm working on curlier hair, when you tend to cut curly hair short, it goes quite straight down the very bottom. The curl tends to happen sort of like as it gets to maybe half an inch long, especially on Jackson's hair. You see it's very straight at the root, and then it starts to get its sort of curl, say about maybe a few centimetres in. So again, you're working from a curl into straight hair. So I always do very, very small sections on the clip weight to really get that sort of seamless blend. Otherwise it can look a bit steppy because the curl will move, and then you'll really notice the difference between it being straight and being curly. So work on very small sections. So as you can see, if you come to the back here, you got that curl, but because I've worked very small sections, it's gone from a curly into straight. It's kind of working seamlessly. That's what I'm looking to do all the way around the back and sides. There we go. So when it comes to edging the hairline, I want to strengthen up this area. As you can see, when it's a bit curly, it's quite fine edging. So I want to strengthen up. I don't want it to sort of shape up the whole hairline. I just want to shape around the temple and just give a bit of character to this side here as well, and obviously the other side. So I'm going to taper that slightly with my smaller comb, my size 5 comb, to really expose the hairline. Now bearing in mind, looking at the sideburn too, his beard comes in there, and then you've got a few wispy hairs here, so I want to strengthen up at that point and then curve it around. So I'm going to start at the sideburn, a beard temple first, then work down to the sideburn, just using the corner of my my clipper. I'm going to work from the sideburn and then try and match up. That's really strengthened up the hairline there as well. And we'll work around the hairline too. Work around the neck as well. Again, looking to just strengthen this hairline as well. Take away that neck hair as well. Now let's use my size 5 comb on minis just to go over any bits to make sure we didn't miss any with the clipper. And before I do any tapering, especially on curly hair, I tend to do a lot of the lining out first. So I'll move back into tapering this neck a bit tighter, but I always tend to strengthen it first before we go into the taper. So I just put this little shallow line at the bottom, just to keep everything nice and symmetrical down there. So I'm going to taper the sideburns on 0.5 down the bottom there, so it looks a little bit darker. So I want to make that look all even. Just down the very bottom, I just taper them bottom bits out there, so it looks like it's a 1. And I'll just work slightly across the hairline. So I'm only looking to strengthen it, I'm not looking to shape it too much. So I'm just going to taper out that heavy line. The same on the neck. So working on 0.5, just working up and off. Same on this sideburn too. Just taper it through, just the harsh line. And then moving, closing the guard and working just a bit lower down. So you get my 1 guard and just go above from where the half was. Just make sure there's nothing being missed. There we go. Right, so I'm going to work into the top now. So again, I want to maintain a lot of the length through this. So I'm going to work on this as it is now, so it's just damp. It's not soaking wet, so I need to start seeing this curl progress as it starts to dry off naturally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this all down. I want to see how much hangs over. So you can see there's a slight overhang through there. Just a little bit of one way. So I want to get rid of that. But I also want to try and break this curl up as well. The shorter towards the back allows you to kind of move the hair about, and then the fringe is the kind of thing that lets you fall and flow. So I'm going to work it from the back, just from before the crown, and I'm just going to see what length it's at. So as you can see, it's a little bit longer there, a little bit shorter. So I'm going to find the shortest length and weight to that. So It's only a little bit off. But this is more about how we go to create that curl and how we thin this hair out too. I'm just going to take it a tiny bit shorter. Cutting it very blunt again, as you do when you cut and curl hair, you cut it nice and blunt. Just strengthen the ends up. As you get past the apex, I bring it back into that previous section. So you'll start to see your guide quite easily, and you'll also start to not take much off neither as well. You can see I'm pulling this back, not much is coming through. Bring it back again, tiny bit. Wider section, bringing it back, hardly anything, and then right through the front, bring it back, nothing to cut. So that's essentially what you get that nice shorter into longer length. That's what we're trying to create, that little bit more movement through here, and also something that you can play around with through the week as well. I'm working through the side, nice and straight. Now I get to the apex now, which again is that point at the top of the head that you can feel. And I work everything back to that previous guide. That's it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb the fringe out the way, just on a nice diagonal. And I'm going to connect all this in. Just completely straight. Now where I'm working my finger to is where the 2.5 finished, is where I'm bringing the guide down to. So I place my finger at that point here, and I comb everything over, and I lift it up and over like the little lip of my finger. I'm trying to cut it nice and blunt. So again, what we're leaving is we're leaving a corner here. But when you're working with curly hair, it's creating the shape. More than using the head to create it, we're looking to create the shape with the curl. And then also allows us to kind of create a bit more texture in there as well. So leaving longer lengths through the hair creates that for you. And then we've left that fringe a bit longer as well. And then work through. Right to the apex of the head, and bring everything back. I think that's sometimes the mistake that you can make, is if you wet curly hair down and try and cut it, because you never really see how it's going to fall that way. So always try and cut it dry, or as dry as you can do. Bring all this down into my finger from the crown, right down. Just work it right across, best you can. Keep that corner so you're keeping a bit of length through there as well. So now what we're getting is a longer fringe, shorter towards the back, and then we can start to create a nice bit of movement in this now as well. So I'm going to switch up to a bigger scissor, which is one that I do put most of the predominantly cutting with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up in a section, clean, very clean section. I'm just going to cut into my comb here like this. I'm just going to break up the ends of the hair. I'm not looking to break up the curl, I want it to stand up. It'll flick up and stand up. I just want to break it up, but everything's predominantly square and straight. I'm just cutting in to a little bit as well. So that's going to take a little bit of hair out. It's going to thin out a little bit as well, but it's also going to break the end as it falls. Again, another section. Using your scissor as a section technique. Pop the hair into the comb and just cut a nice chunk into there. And that takes hair out, but also allows to break that curl up. So we're not cutting it, we're not point cutting into the hair. We're cutting into like kind of just above the middle of the hair, just to break it all up. Put the hair in, and then just cut it, random chunks. So I'll do it again, so nice and slow. So scissor slides across the top of the scalp, you push the hair forward, you comb underneath, and you put your comb and replace it where the scissor was, and then just pop it on behind. That's it. So with it being quite short, we don't need to do too much to it. It's going to come down to the styling. So just a little bit of something to break up that thickness. And because we're doing it quite sort of big chunks, it'll create a lot of thinness throughout that as well. So I'm going to connect the crown in now. So again, that crown was quite short. I didn't want to take too much length off that at all. I didn't take much off the section before, so that length's all right. I'm just bringing it into my fingers at the same point of reference from the 2 blend, and just connecting it through to match up to this side. As you see, there's the guide. Just cutting it through. So we get the nice bit of length through the crown here, a little bit of length through the corner. It's a slightly bit shorter here, so we're creating that box look. So when we start this out, you'll have a very nice square shape as well. Now this hair's starting to dry through, you can still really start to see the shape that we've created. I'll just turn it towards you slightly. You see by leaving the corners in how much we've created that nice box shape that we're going for as well. So I really want to emphasize that with the drying. So as it's starting to dry out, I'm going to put some salt spray in. I'm going to spray it in sections like this. So if you're doing it yourself, just separate your hair and just spray it in like that, right? and use a few things to scatter the section as well. It's not looking for perfect section in here, we're just looking to try and get as much salt spray into that root as we can. And then just a little bit over the top as well. So I'm going to use my diffuser. It's this thing here. And what this does, this dries it as natural, basically as natural as you can by using heat. It's almost like towel drying your hair. But what this does, it circulates the air slightly as well, so it helps to emphasize the curl. Now I'm going to scrunch through, and then I'm going to brush out. All right, so diffuser on, top of the head, take completely straight on, and scrunch through with my fingers. And start to dry in this salt spray, go for that kind of really dry feel to the hair. But what you start to notice is a lot of curl coming through. So again, high heat, medium speed. When you're using the diffuser, you're not looking to blast the hair, so have that on the lowest speed setting you can, but the highest heat setting. It doesn't get as hot as it normally would if it was coming through, like say a sort of like a regular, even just without anything on it. They get a lot more hot if it's coming through that, but it's not as hot when you put it through the diffuser, because the air spreads out. So you're just scrunching, and then I'm just going to start to twist through the fringe like this. And dry. I've got to separate the fringe out. There's more hair there, so I can do it. Wrap it around your finger and then twist. And it will start to create more wave. And then your fingers. And stretch the hair out of your fingers. Once you've got the curls, you brush the curls out. So we've done, we've dried the salt spray into the curl. Brush this out. Then when it comes to starting with your fingers, you've broken up all that curl, so you don't get that thick clump of curl, you get that separation. So you've got the straightness of the brush, you've got the curls that you've dried through, and you get a lot more separation. So this is just using a salt spray, this is not using anything else. A bit of heat, the right cutting method, the right techniques, and a little bit of salt spray. So again, this should be such a low maintenance hairstyle for Jackson to maintain as well. Just pop a diffuser on, dry it through, or let it naturally towel dry. Salt spray in, towel dry it, let it dry out as you go to work, and just run your fingers through if you've got little combs, and just comb it through, or just run your fingers through and stretch the hair out. And what you create is you get rid of that big clump of curl that you dried in by straightening it with the brush, and you start to add separation to it. As you can see, you've got all that nice broken up texture through there. But actually, it was very minimal effort to create that as well. So I'll just recap. So we did a 2 into a 1 on the back and sides, and then blended it into the top. Of what we did, we sectioned off first into like what we'd say would be our horseshoe normally, but we separated from the 2 crowns. So as mentioned at the start, Jackson's got 2 crowns very close together. So I used each crown to find the guide from the horseshoe, and then just left the middle of the crown natural. So we cut into that. Blended it in very small sections to create a nice seamless blend. And then through the top, we kept everything square. So I went from the center to the apex and pulled everything back to meet. So again, it was shorter here. Well, here what I call like a halo sort of section in a sense. Imagine it just being like a sort of a circular point here being a bit shorter. Then brought it up again, square it all the way through. So brought it the sides and leveled off to my fingers. And then brought everything down to match the blend on the side. So vertical through the top and then horizontal through the sides in terms of section. Then worked through a bit of texture. So what we did was we took sections with our comb and our scissor, and we just cut into the internal part of the hair itself. So we weren't point cutting at the end, we were cutting right in to just above halfway of the hair. Now that was thinning it out. It was also breaking that curl up as well, but don't overdo it. I think it was about 6 sections through the top roughly. Then we left the fringe as it was because it had quite a lot of length in it. Well, I wanted longer length. And then I disconnected the fringe. So again, when Jackson wants something asymmetric, with his fringe not going particularly one way, I disconnect the fringe a bit longer. He can wear it that way one day, he can wear it this way one day as well. So it's up to him whichever way he wants to wear it. And then we just dried it through with a diffuser and some salt spray, and then brushed out the curls, and then we styled it with our fingers. So what we did was by drying the curl quite tight and brushing the curl out, you have some tight curl, some loose curl, some S curl, whatever, and then you just emphasise that with your fingers. And that is it. Happy?
Thank you very much.
Awesome, mate. Thank you.
My girlfriend said probably just to check that you weren't bleaching it.
Do you like it? Do you like it, yeah? Awesome. So to see more of this tutorial and a few more others that we've done as well, head to the Patreon channel in the description below.